Welcome, adventurer, to the Broken Empires, a vast fantasy world. Choose your strengths wisely, and stop at nothing to pursue your goals, and fight those who would stand in your way. Use combat maneuvers to choose your tactics and win. Test your wits and cunning against those who would use words as they would a weapon. Call upon your magic by combining binds and strands to smite your enemies. Will you succumb to fatigue, or will your journey lead to glory? The Broken Empires role-playing game, now on Kickstarter.
We review the Blade Runner starter set and hardcover rules today on Dungeon Craft.
Deathbringer here. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and sign up for the Deathbringer RPG newsletter below.
Welcome to Dungeon Craft. I'm Professor DM, and this channel is about independent role-playing games, and today we're taking a look at Blade Runner core rules and starter set from Free League. The game is based on the popular Sci-Fi series, which combines cerebral investigations with sudden outbursts of violence. Spoiler alert, the game is fantastic. Now, full disclosure, I was not given this game by Free League. It was given to me by Matt at Lurking Fears, a company that runs Blade Runner and other grimdark role-playing games like Aliens, Call of Cthulhu, and Shadowdark at various conventions. And if you're interested in trying out a Free League game at a convention, you want to look up Lurking Fears. I think they're going to be at PAX Unplugged in Philadelphia in December next. I also ran this game for Lurking Fears at Gen Con as well as with my own group, so this is a playtest review. Let's get to it. So here is the Blade Runner core rules and starter set, and we're going to put the starter set aside for a bit and take a look at this core rulebook. It is 230 pages, hardbound, slick pages. It's got a gorgeous map of Los Angeles in the inside cover. And this book is beautiful the way the Blade Runner movie is beautiful. It's just stunning to look at. Blade Runner is by these people. The print is a little bit small for me. That's going to be one of my quibbles about this book. But you can't deny the book is absolutely stunning to look at. Some of the print is okay. Some of it is a little harder for me to read. However, it contains a lot of information about the background of this fascinating world. We've got the rise and the fall of the mega corporation, a timeline of events. Welcome to Los Angeles 2037. Key themes: sci-fi action, character drama, corporate intrigue. Players are Blade Runners. They're investigators, and they will work together as a team to uncover some very dark mysteries. One of the cool innovations is the way they measure time. There's a morning shift, day shift, evening shift, and night shift. So the players can split the party, and you ask them what they're doing on that shift. And that way they can reconvene during a later shift. It's a great abstract way to keep track of time. There are rules for player versus player combat, because part of this world is the distrust between the replicants, androids, and humans. And there's a sense of paranoia, and you never know who's on whose side. Creating your Blade Runner. Core concepts. Are you a human or a replicant? What's your archetype? How many years have you been on the police force? The attributes and the resolution I'll save for the starter set. Here I want to focus on how to build a character with a number of different memories, most of them tragic, relationships between you, the other player characters, and the NPCs. This isn't about min-maxing your character. This game is really about role-playing a character as opposed to role-playing a character. Promotion points by which your character can improve. And we have the different archetypes, which are essentially classes: analyst, city speaker, doxy, fixer, inspector, which is what Rick Deckard is in the movies, and so forth. skills, how to roll the dice, which again I'll get into with the starter set, rules for combat and chases. When your investigator is tortured, interrogated, traumatized by a key memory, or exposed to violence, they gain stress. And too much stress and you could wig out or malfunction. Where this book really shines is the background material. This book is for lore junkies. They really paint the picture, taking you through all the different sectors of the city. How do the different agencies work? How do the different corporations, like the Tyrell Corporation, work? How does the media work? And then we have a lot of guns and cars for gear junkies. And I'm not going to show you the whole thing, but most of this book is about building a world. And if you're a fan of the Blade Runner films and you want to know more about how this world came to be, this is an entertaining book.
Like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. Thank you.
Now let's take a look at the basic set. These rules are pretty much complete. They're what's in the core rulebook, including the chases. It's just lighter on the lore. Let me explain the core concepts. You have attribute scores, and they're rated A, B, C, D. I'll show you on these character sheets. If you have level A, use a 12-sided die. Level B, a 10-sided. Level C, 8-sided. D, 6-sided. And you've got 4 abilities: strength, agility, intelligence, and empathy, as well as a list of skills. William Novak has close combat, firearms, stealth, observation, connections, and insight. When you want to do something, you roll a pair of dice, one for your abilities and one for your skills. If William wants to fire his gun, he will use agility and firearms. His firearm skill is A, his agility is B, so he's accurate, but not as fast as he could be. And you roll the dice. Anything over a 6 is a success. If William wanted to shoot a replicant, he would miss, and that is a critical failure. That's the little gaff origami unicorn. But if he rolled a 7 and a 3, he would succeed. An eye symbol indicates a success. If you get multiple eyes, it's a critical success, and he'll do more damage. Firearms and other weapons do static damage in this game, so that would elevate the amount of damage it does. Now, hand-to-hand combat is an opposed roll. William's strength is C, close combat B. Percival, the replicant, has a B for strength, and he's untrained in hand-to-hand combat, so he would roll a 6. It's an even fight. Percival scores a critical hit. William did not score a hit. So William would get punched for extra damage. And that's essentially the system. Super easy to grasp, very versatile. And this is great. This is the simplified version of the character sheet. This is the more detailed one. And this includes your key memory, so you know how to role play. Like you can see from this character sheet, there's just as much about how to play William Novak and his background as there is with his statistics. Now let's take a look at the scenario Electric Dreams, which for me is the high point of the starter set. The team of investigators are charged with looking into the disappearance of a Blade Runner and the murder of another Blade Runner. We've got a countdown of events and descriptions of the major characters, their motivations, and where they can be found, as well as a flow chart. This is not a linear adventure. Characters can choose a number of paths. It's got bullet points telling you what clues can be found at each location, and each clue leads to another location. They can be experienced in any order. This adventure really runs itself. It includes these mugshot cards, so you can show the players what each character looks like. And I'm not going to spoil the mystery, but it is very dark. And it provides the players with a moral quandary. The other cool thing about this scenario is the final confrontation. There are a number of ways the Game Master might end it. And in fact, I ran it twice and it ended differently both times. And the handouts are super innovative. This is a photograph of just outside the nightclub where the Blade Runner was murdered. See how it's a grid like the movie? If the players say, "Enhance to that spot," they can discover the license plate on the car and track the shooter to their location. That is just brilliant. I have a few quibbles, like it says handout H on the back, but it's really small for me to read, and I'd prefer if it were just on the front, so I took a silver pen and I put LAPD handout H. Leah's apartment, K, just to help me keep it all straight. Also, the situation of who murdered who was a little unclear to me, so I had to call up my buddy Trevor Duvall over at Me, Myself, and Die, who has a great live play of Blade Runner, by the way, and ask him, hey, who killed who? And that shouldn't detract from the scenario because This thing is brilliant. The way it's put together with all the moving parts, just in case you don't visit one NPC or one location, you'll get that information from another. I played this scenario a couple different times, and different sets of investigators went to different places in a different order. And in both cases, it took about 2.5 hours to play through the scenario. Both the Blade Runner core rules and starter set are excellent. This game is as good as a role-playing game can get. That's what I think. What do you think? Share in the comments below. Also below you'll find links to Patreon, where you can get extended video content. For this video, I give additional tips on how to run Electric Dreams. And of course, sign up for the Deathbringer newsletter below. Thanks to all the patrons for making this content possible. I'll see you soon. May all your rolls be 20s.
There's a video on the screen, but you're not clicking on it, Leon. Why aren't you clicking on it and watching more Dungeon Craft?